Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Cryer with BHS Realty Group here in Gerald, Texas, and today we're visiting with Sascha, which is a homeowner. He's bought and sold a couple of homes, and so I wanted to give everybody a perspective from a customer or client's point of view, somebody that's had a little experience buying and selling used homes and also working with builders. So, Sascha, thank you for doing this today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And I was just wondering if you could kind of talk to me about your last experience. We'll start there and work backwards. So your last house you bought was new, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought a house here in Gerald. But before I bought that house, I had put some money down on a house in Leander. Put some earnest money down to secure that house. Ended up backing out on the deal. I had a realtor who assisted me with the house here. Even though it was a new build, I was always told you have to go with the realtor, because she knows all the fine details. She can read all the small print. So when I found the house I liked out here, I talked to my realtor, had her come out and look at the house and talk to the builder. And the process was real smooth. 6 months later, I was at the closing desk. That's pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And she was there with me and made sure that all the paperwork was in line and signed all the paperwork and moved in about 6 months later.
Did the builder ever tell you it wasn't necessary to have a not have a realtor, or that they would give you a discount if you didn't use a realtor or anything?
No, I mean, I was fortunate enough this time where that didn't happen. I remember when I purchased the previous home, the builder was telling me it's not necessary to have a realtor. But growing up, my dad always told me, if you buy a house, whether it be a new house or a house that was already built, it's best to have a realtor, because they'll look out for you. So.
Yeah, because you got somebody on your team, somebody working for you that's been through the education and also the experience.
Yes.
Yeah, because most home buyers, I mean, you've had 3 houses, right?
Yes.
And so a realtor will do 3 or 4 a month, right?
Yes.
So that's a lot different. So what are some of the things that you would kind of advise our audience on looking for whenever they're buying a new house?
Well, a few things that I was looking at, because at the time my kids were in school, I was looking for a community where the schools rated really high. I was fortunate here in Gerald to have a school district where the teachers worked a lot more one-on-one. My youngest son, he wasn't special needs, but he was a difficult child. So he needed a little bit more one-on-one time with the teachers, and they actually cared about the students. So that was one of the main things. Also, I wanted to move into a community which was somewhat established, where I had neighbors, and the realtor kind of told me some areas to look at. So that was another advantage to having a realtor. So I didn't really know the area. Like I said, I put that earnest money down in Leander, and I kind of told her I wanted to do some other things, maybe look some other places, and she gave me some areas where the home prices were about the same, where the school ratings were really high.
You could buy a new house for what you were going to pay for a previous built house, right?
Yes, sir.
Or an older house in that area, yeah. And that's one of the advantages of moving out to Gerald is we do have Old Town, which was established many years ago, but just about everything here is new now. I mean, the oldest houses in Sonterra are 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
But you go on down to the Home Place and these other ones, Calumet, and we happen right now to have about 19 subdivisions that are coming up.
Yeah, I see it growing, yes.
And so, but yeah, you touch base on the Gerald school district.
Yes, sir.
So did your kids graduate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so were you happy with the school district?
Yeah, I was got to have a good relationship with the principal, all my kids' teachers. If there were any issues at school, they would reach out. And that's something I didn't get in a bigger city. Not saying that you can't get it in a bigger city, but that one-on-one, even with me being a parent, being able to talk to the teachers, or they keep me in the loop on what's going on, that was very refreshing.
So What kind of questions do you have for me from a home buyer to a realtor point of view? What, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me?
Well, one of the first things, like when I started my house hunt this last time, is I asked my realtor, and I'll ask you the same question. What do you think is the first step that I should take in looking for a new home?
So I always advise people to get pre-qualified. Get pre-qualified, and then we know, kind of, not necessarily, we know their buying power, but that also, even though you may qualify for a bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't ever advise you to go out and just spend your whole budget in one place, right? You don't want to be house rich and cash poor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say get pre-qualified with a lender, get your relationship established with them, do any tweaks on your credit that need to be done, and then that way we know what we're up against.
Okay. And then another question, what things do I look at when I'm touring a house? Are there certain things that I need to look at, be cognizant of when it comes to viewing a house?
So if it's a previous built house, not new construction, I always, some of the things that I do is go for I go around and look at the windows and the doors,
Mm-hmm.
make sure the doors have a good straight gap all the way around them. Look for any cracks going off of the doors or off the windows.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sign of the foundation moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can walk around the outside of the house, and if it's like out here, we have a lot of white rock.
Yeah.
You can look and see if there's any cracks that go with the mortar. That's one thing, but if you see it where it goes through the brick and it's broken or cracked right there, that's more of a stress. So if it's on the mortar, you just see a little twisting or a little movement. That's all natural.
Uh-huh.
Things are going to move around. But yeah. So I mean, because your foundation is one of your crucial things.
Well, I guess one last question, and this is what I told my realtor before I retained her to help me. Why go with a realtor?
Yeah. So when you're buying, it's customary. I mean, there's really nothing set in stone in our industry as far as fees or anything goes, but it's customary that the seller pay for the realtor.
Yes, sir.
And that's important for buyers to know that even if they're buying a new house, the builder's not going to say, well, if you don't use a realtor, I'll give you a discount, or if you use a realtor, I'm going to charge you more. But if you have proper representation, it's customary that that's paid for by the seller. And so the reason why you would use a realtor, so that's a lot of misconception that people don't understand is a lot of times they think that they have to pay. And so it's customary that the seller pays the realtor. But one of the main things is whenever you're looking for a realtor, you always want them to kind of fit the criteria. Like I'm also a real estate investor. And when I'm talking to other realtors, if I'm even going to use them, I always ask them if they've ever had investment properties and what they know about investment properties, because you want somebody that has walked in your shoes, basically, right? Because
Yes, sir.
that way they can advise you. It's one thing to go to school and get educated, but having the real world experience is what's crucial.
Yeah, I agree.
But then having somebody that can explain that to you in a language that you understand is also a big key.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate you. Everything you do.
Well, thank you, and I want to thank you for your time today. I appreciate you coming in, and if you guys ever need anything, you can reach me at bhsrealtygroup.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube, but yeah, reach out to us. Thank you and have a good day.